Great morning, world. This is your boy Dragon, and welcome to another 10-minute Rise Up with Dragon. As a quick reminder, the goal of this podcast, I always have to remind myself and remind those that are watching. The goal of this podcast is to be used in a structure in your morning to remove the blindfolds of your mind that we've created so that you can gain access to higher levels of consciousness and tap into your true great potential. So we do this with the podcast. We do this with our weekly blog called One from the Vault in the Dragon's Lair. And we do this with all of our upcoming stuff that's coming up with our books and all that stuff. So I just want to welcome you to another Rise Up with Dragon. And we've got this new format now that we call the 10-minute Rise Up to a Great Day. And this new season and series is the latest creation and commitment from the Dragon, and it was inspired by the unpredictability. Dragon's 50 years old, and it's inspired by the unpredictable components of time and how much time we have to live our best life. And then that question of what is it that we will actually think, say, and do in the last 10 minutes of our life. So enjoy a new shortened structure in the Rise Up with Dragon podcast that you can use to rise up and enjoy and embrace every 10 minutes of your life.
Great morning, world! Welcome to the Rise Up with Dragon podcast with your host, Dragon!
This episode today is called You Are Here, and it's been sponsored, as always, by the amazing Karma Mind.
Get into the float state with Karma Mind meditations and gear.
And you might have noticed that that voice is that of my chicken. And today we are recording this live. And if you're listening to this live, I wish you a very happy Valentine's Day. But that voice of Karma Mind is my Valentine, and I want to wish her a very special happy Valentine's Day. And thank you so much for coming into my life. So let's jump right into this because we only have a little bit of time. So You Are Here. This Rise Up was motivated by a book that I just read called You Are Here by Thich Nhat Hanh. And he's an amazing author, a Buddhist author, and he just does some really, really cool stuff. So just quickly, one quick thought I had this morning. I'm a huge fan of taking control. That's why I read books like that, of what I consume on a daily basis. So this is why, Chicken and I have become minimalist, meaning we've minimized, and I talked about minimalistic the other day, minimalized the things and people that we allow into our space. So it's also why I created this Rise Up Great Morning structure. It's the idea behind it was to plant seeds, the seeds that I decide, to plant seeds of positive and supportive growth in my head, like things like love, compassion, and hope. However, what we need to understand and embrace and radically accept is that the universe is always going to make sure that negativity, seeds of negativity, always find their way into our garden. We'll talk a little bit about the garden, things like fear, doubt, and concern. So they say, there's a great quote, they say that God only prunes the branches that he wants to see grow. So while it's crucial, and this is why I protect what I consume, it's crucial that we become aware of all of that stuff and make a conscious decision today. This is going to be a reel that I'm going to do for Instagram. Make a conscious decision today to only water the seeds. See, all the seeds are there. Only water the seeds that we want to see grow. You understand that? That's a powerful thing. If you can embrace that today, accept all of the seeds, but water and give attention to the ones that you want to see grow. The negative seeds have a place in the soil and are part of the equation. However, we get to choose which ones that we want to see grow. So let's get into this. You are here. So your mind is not a battlefield. And this is stuff that I pulled from this book. Your mind's not a battlefield between good and evil. Both sides, good and evil, they actually both belong to you. Your mind is both yours and not yours. Think about that for a second. Depending on what degree, or depending on the degree which you're mindful in consciousness, this is the thing that we're always trying to work on, is increase our, that's what I said this podcast is about, increase our level of access to mindfulness and consciousness. So, and also recognize how it's been programmed, our minds, and its good intentions. So the key to being peaceful, and this is it, the key to being peaceful is the radical acceptance of all things in our mind, just like all the seeds, and recognizing how they're all useful, and they're all useful in our minds, yet not always important. Let me read that again. So the radical acceptance of all things in our mind as useful, yet not always important. So the Buddhists talk about this place called the middle way, the place between where you were, your past, and where you're going in your racing mind. Think about your racing mind for a second. It's always thinking about the past and the future. A racing mind is never in the present moment. So the middle way is the place that we want to go. The place that is neither here nor there is called no man's land, and it's a wonderful place to be. It's probably the place that you used to go and your parents would like swat at you and tell you not to do that. So it's just a place of present time acceptance of all things that exist in the now. Talk about the now. The now, that's a South African thing. So no distinction of good or bad in the now. The gardener, and I put this up the other day, the gardener takes his garbage, think about you and your life, takes its garbage, and he has the sense to make compost with that garbage. We know what compost is. With that compost, he grows a beautiful garden and a flower, and that flower makes people smile. That beautiful flower, when you look at it, it contains both the flower and the compost and everything that made the compost, the garbage, in its creation as you look at it. And what's interesting is you also observe that that flower again turns into compost and gives rise to another flower, and the process goes on. So how does this interpret into your lives? Each day that we wake and rise up, which is what we're doing right now, each day that we wake and rise up, we are an expression of where we've been, yet in the present moment. Think about that for a second. So the expression of your past is now in the present, and you've used it like the compost to create the perfection of where you are in the now. Consider for a second the perfection of where you are in the now. Here in this moment, you have and you possess more potential for growth, happiness, and fulfillment than you've ever imagined, because you're free from the idea that your life exists in the past and in the future. You've simply created the compost. Love this, grab this. You've simply created the compost to grow your future flower. As a matter of fact, your present flower as well, and life continues to go on. One of the distinctions that Chicken and I made this morning when we were having our conversations is, why is it that we all have so much struggle attached to giving everything that happens in life meaning rather than just being present? Your children are an expression of you, and like the flower, you can see you in them. Parents will understand what this means. Yet, they too don't live in your past, and they only embrace you as a useful part of themselves and basic creator or co-creator of their compost that gave rise to their potential. Practice this by simplifying where your thoughts are. Take today and just do something like focus on your breath. Listen to the Karma Mind app. Focus on your breath and your current reality. Breathe in and just say, I'm breathing in. Breathe out and just say, I'm breathing out. I love to close my eyes and focus. This is how I meditate. I love to close my eyes and focus that I'm in a room that up, above, side to side, only white. And all I do is I find a teeny little black dot in that white, all white room. And then all of a sudden I say, I'm in a white room focused on a dot. And then I realize I'm thinking about nothing and I'm present. So focus only on your breath and your current reality. Be patient and wait for the now to become later. Wait for the now to become later. You don't worry about the later. The now will become later. And once the now becomes later, guess what? It'll be the new now. So you are here, and that's perfect for now. So that's my rise up today. You are here. I love and appreciate you all. If you're not subscribed to our newsletter, go to riseupwithdragon.com and just sign up for it. It's free. It comes out every Monday, meaning it'll come out today. Our podcast is found on all channels, Rise Up with Dragon. We've got some really, really good stuff coming with online courses, and the book is just amazing. I can't wait to launch it. So love and appreciate you all. Have an amazing day, and I love you.